Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on Prog Magic. Today we're gonna see about giving new paradox forms to other Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Of course fan designs, but hey, we can always dream for the DLC.
In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we were introduced to ancient and future forms, also known as paradox forms. We got a fair amount of them, but naturally the Pokemon community wants more. So let's
Oh
take a
yeah, and
look
we
at some
went
new
wild
paradox
with the
forms.
concepts.
Hey everyone, Brandon here. The
Hey
Pokemon
Brandon.
community has been running rampant with new ideas for paradox forms, and I have been seeing a ton of really cool ones that I wanted to share on the channel today. So let's get things started with an ancient
Ooh.
Eevee form by Elite 4 over on Instagram. This thing is called Feral Gene and it's a dragon type. I love the idea of bringing in a dragon type form for Eevee that's
There we
not
go.
an evolution. It's a really fun way to introduce that type into Eevee's,
Not
already
bad.
plethora of typings. It's also clever design-wise because you get in those draconic elements of the ancient forms that we've been seeing with things like Slitherwing, which I'm really upset that Slitherwing is not Bug Dragon, but is instead Bug Fighting.
It
Huge
should be
missed
Bug
opportunity there, in
Dragon.
my opinion. Also, Brute Bonnet and Great Tusk add in some kind of draconic elements with like spikes and tails being added in. So this feels like a really natural way
Yeah.
for Eevee to get the Dragon type. And here is the future form for Eevee, which is
Oh,
Iron Friend, and it's a Steel type. This is
that
just
is
so
cute.
great. I love its name, Iron Friend. This thing is definitely friend shaped. It reminds me of
It
those
is
little robot dogs
100%
from the
friend
early
shaped.
2000s that everybody in school wanted. And yet again is a very natural way of incorporating the Steel type into an Eevee form. I would love to see us get paradox forms of Pokemon like Pikachu and Eevee, who are both considered mascots of the franchise. Both
At
of
this
these
point,
concepts are
yeah.
really well done, and I wish we could see them in the games. Next
It
up
would
is
be
an ancient
great.
form for Sceptile by R. Greywind. This one's name is Brutal Blade, which I love, plays into the Leaf
Nice.
Blade of Grovyle and Sceptile, the kind of move they're famous for. I could see this thing being Grass Dragon or Grass Dark. I think Grass Dark would be even cooler
Grass
because we already
Dark,
had Grass
definitely.
Dragon with Mega Sceptile. It didn't say in the
It
post,
seems
but
like it
actually
would
our
be
Greywin commented that this is
destructive.
actually Grass Poison type, which is still really cool and very fitting. I really like how the dark red and reddish orange is incorporated into this design, as Sceptile already had red as a part of its design, and ancient forms typically have that orange and red kind of coloration to them.
They do have a
Also, it
lot
probably
more.
helps that Sceptile is based on an extinct animal, given that's the Grass Starter's theme, so this ends up feeling like some kind of dinosaur, maybe a raptor of some kind. Our Greywind
Oh
also
yeah.
made a future form to match, and this one
Oh,
is Iron Saw, and it is a Dragon Steel type. For one, that type
nice.
combo is awesome, and for two, this design is awesome. It's kind of giving me Power Ranger fused with its Zord kind of energy. I love that
I
about
mean,
it.
totally.
Speaking
That's
of,
some
rest in
Dino
peace,
Thunder
Jason David
stuff.
Frank. Dude was an absolute icon. Really sad that he's gone. But
Rest in
just wanted to
peace,
say
you
that while we
Ranger
were on
of
the topic.
Power.
Next, we have a couple by JW Metz over
Damn!
on Instagram. First up is an
That
ancient
thing
form of
is a
Tangrowth called
Medusa.
Endless Jaws, and it's a grass dragon type. They also gave it the name Tangorgan, which I actually really like. I hope that we get
Then
actual
Gorgon.
names
Yeah,
for all of
literally
these,
Medusa.
ancient and
Ha.
future forms, not just these kind of code names as they were. But this design is so cool. I love that it incorporates a Gorgon, getting those kind of snaky elements in there. Makes complete sense with Tangrowth's design. I just love the idea of dragon plus vine
Amazing.
equals Gorgon. That's so smart. Next up, we have a future form for
Huh.
Tangrowth, which is called Iron Reach or Clan Growth, and it's a grass electric type.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure the
that's
name Clan Growth is supposed to
interesting.
hint that it's a beehive, given its beehive shape. But it kind of looks like old sci-fi movie robots, kind of like a Dalek. It kind of reminds me of Dalek in
You know
its
what?
shape
It
and kind
does
of
look like a
bulbousness.
Dalek.
I could also see this in the Star Wars universe, to be honest. Next up from Deems Fakemon, we have Raging Terror, which is an ancient form of Cramorant, and it is
Of
water fighting
course.
type. I just love how much I get to feature Cramorant on this channel. I mean, we
Just
had the past formed Cramorant that we had in the past and
It
future
looks like an
forms
actual
video. We have the
dodo.
Gmax Cramorant in our Gmax video, and now we have this ancient form Cramorant. Oh, and spoilers, in an upcoming short, there's also another Cramorant form that I'm featuring, so hope you guys enjoy that. I'm
Man,
pretty
that's a
sure
lot
these
of
are supposed to be based
Cramorants.
on terror birds, which live up to their name because they are terrifying. And I also love how it's applied onto Cramorant here. Cramorant, I don't know why, has just such a versatile design for some reason. I really love its design. It still feels like
Kind of
Cramorant while
simple,
mixing
but
in
it
those terror
works
bird
for everything
aspects
it's
just to make
needed.
a completely terrifying Pokemon. I mean, just imagine this thing running at you at full speed. I'm Yeah, no thanks. Next up, we have another ancient form with Licky
Ooh.
Licky by Soy Alex Allen, and it is
Normal
Lengthy
dragon
Tongue. I hate
again?
that name, but I love it at the same time. It's
It's a
very
lot of
accurate,
dragon
but it's just
types.
also kind of gross to think about. It's a normal dragon type, and I'm seeing a lot of this kind of mixture of ground, rock, fighting, and dragon all being kind of incorporated into the ancient forms, whereas
Hmm.
Future is kind of more steel and electric. You can definitely feel the
Yeah,
dragon typing in
definitely.
its design. It's got these gruffer elements, less cute and cuddly than Licky Licky, which I mean, Licky Licky is terrifying in and of itself, but it does have those cute and cuddly elements. You can kind of see like
Yeah,
a layered
kinda.
sediment going on as the pattern on its stomach rather than the Wi-Fi symbol and the little bib thing it had. Overall, the design
You know
works
what?
really
No, yeah,
well,
I
and
see
it's
it
a
now.
good testament to how this
Instead of
kind of
Wi-Fi
concept of
signal,
ancient and
it's
future forms can be
literally
applied
just
to almost any
Leos and
Pokemon. Next up
climbing.
is a future form of
Whoa.
Colossal by Matt4265 Fakemon called Iron Boiler. It is a fire water type, which is
Nice.
a great type combination, but as far as design, it feels more like a fire steel type to me, but maybe that's just me.
Feels
I
like
get
it
it's a
should be
boiler,
at
which
least
fire water
part
type
steel.
definitely makes sense for. I'm not saying it doesn't. I really like the incorporation of this hexagonal pattern into its design. It makes it still feel like coal, but at the same time, it feels very futuristic. And it almost has like a helmet, like a knight's helmet as its face instead of like
Hmm.
the kind of craggy, face it
Oh
had
yeah.
before.
You know, it
Next
kind of
up, we have
reminds.
a very
Oh,
epic one called Primal Beast by R. James the V. There is
that
actually a
is
sketch of this Pokemon
awesome.
in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which looks like an ancient form of the legendary beasts. It looks like a conglomeration of all three. So Primal Beast is an interpretation
Raikou,
of what that
Entei, and
actually will look like
Suicune.
in game. And my gosh, is it epic. It kind of looks like a steel fighting type almost,
That
but there's
is
like so many elements
amazing.
going on here. You kind of like a magma crest of Suicune, and then the little spikes of Raikou have become like icy glaciers. All the different elements of the beasts are kind of incorporating into
It's
each other,
almost
which I love. There's
tons.
also another sketch that's in game that looks like it's going to be a future form of the Swords of Justice. Yet again, a combination of the three. R. James decided to name this Iron
Nice.
Justice, and that is just a perfect name, and the design is just
Huh,
perfection.
kind of
I
looks
feel like
a
the Swords
little
of Justice are one of the most heavily
Dialga.
underrated legendary trios, so I'm very excited to see them getting some love. I really like this like popped collar look it has going on. It kind of reminds me of Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! And its
Oh
chest
yeah,
shape
it's
almost reminds me
totally.
of Dialga with like kind of diamondy kind of thing going on here. Next up, we have Abysmal Terror, which is an ancient form of
Dude,
Garchomp by
I
Trainer Matt.
love
And
it.
oh boy,
That's
is
a
this
10 out
good.
of
I'm not
10.
a fan of Garchomp's design too much, but this is just chef's kiss, just absolute chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
truly, just
It
a
literally
mwah.
lives up to its name. It At first I thought it was Abyssal Terror, which given its dragon water type would make sense, but I could imagine this in the deep dark depths of the abyss, like some kind of
The
Subnautica
Abysmal
monster or something.
Terror.
The way it's
I
like
would have that
hand
on my
spike
team so
finger
fast.
things fan out is like terrifying, but in like the coolest way. I would never swim in any ocean, lake, or even a pool if I knew this thing existed. Matt's really knocked it out of the park with this design. I mean, if you can make me love Garchomp's design, that's saying something. And
Hell
we
yeah.
also have a future form of Garchomp called Iron Mach, and it
Oh,
is a
not
dragon
bad.
flying type. This one is also really clever because it plays into the jet aspect of Garchomp. If you saw it in Sword
Yeah.
and Shield or even in the anime, it can kind of like fan out and fly like a jet.
You
It's
can
really
weirdly
giving me
glide in
Tron
the
energy,
air.
which I absolutely adore. It very much feels like this could also be a substitute for Miraidon, like people could ride on this as well. And its little head fins being turned into these kind of boosters is so great. I
Oh yeah.
love that.
It
And it
all
makes them
fits.
make more sense on Garchomp's design. Overall, these two designs by Matt's actually make me appreciate Garchomp's design a little bit more, which is an impressive feat. I've saved the best for last because we have
And
four.
here we
Yes,
go.
you heard that right. 4 forms for Charizard. Starting
Oh
us
my
off is
god,
an ancient
really?
form by Chartius Arts called Blazing Rage. It is firefighting type, and yes, go ahead and
Of
leave your
course he
comment
got
saying another firefighting starter. I can already hear you doing it. Honestly,
Of
I can
course
see fire
Jaws
rock
got the
type on this
special
design. That kind of
treatment.
feels natural to me, given its kind of
All just
stony
makes sense.
scales that it has on it. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exact things I love about this design because I just love every piece
It
of
looks
it.
like it
One
should
thing
be
I
a
will say is
dragon
the
again.
coloration is just so satisfying to
Well,
me. I
maybe
don't
a
know.
white
It just
one.
it has that perfect dark redness that the ancient forms have, but it makes sense for the fire type as well as the fighting type. You can definitely feel the
Totally.
rage in this design. Also from Chartius, we have a
Oh.
future form for Charizard, which is Iron Jet. It is a
Okay,
flying
not
dragon
bad.
type, which makes sense, and this thing is so cool. I love that they
I
turn
like
the wings
it.
into these jets, and then the tail is also a little jet with its little propulsion coming out of it. The little disconnected arms it has is a nice touch. This gives me that
It's
same
kinda
kind of
cute.
speed feeling that Mega Salamence does. Just like all aspects of its design are catered to it being
I
aerodynamic.
can see that
One
kind of
thing I
helping to
particularly
move
love
you
about
around
this
like
design is the
Corviknight.
incorporation of the blue. It feels very futuristic, but also plays into the idea of blue flames burning hotter. Next up, we have another future
Whoa.
form by Elisteva076, and this is Iron Wing. You know how I said I love the
Dude.
blue of the last design? Well, yeah, that here, but more. Would you just look at this absolute beast of a machine? It's giving me
I'm
Transformers
looking.
Beast Wars, which recently had a trailer. It's giving me Primal Energy. It's giving me Mega Evolution. It's just giving. I forgot to mention this is a flying electric type, which I just love. And I truly saved the best for last because
Oh,
here is another
okay.
ancient form of Charizard
Nice.
that is Burning Coat. Ooh wee, do I love this design. I love the little Ceratopsian crest it has. I love its burning coat, which replaces its
Look at
wings.
that.
The fighting type is evoked by this kind of Boncho energy that it
Wait, it has the
has. This
ability
color of gray on
photosynthesis?
Charizard is just
Huh.
freaking gorgeous. This design comes together in the most seamless and epic way, and I am just enthralled with it. And those are some
That was
potential new
honestly
Paradox forms. So
amazing to
thank you
look
guys so
at.
much for watching. And with that, I will see you guys next time.
Alright folks, and just like him, that is where we're
No
going to
flip?
end off today's
No.
video. So, I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original creator and all they do. And I'll see all of you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.